Welcome back, everyone. It is time for Tech Tips with Nexus IT. Earl Foote and Travis Gunn are joining us with their monthly suggestions, ideas, and solutions to help with all our tech needs. Earl and Travis, thanks for being here.
Hey, good morning, Christine. So good to see you.
Good morning. Good to see everybody.
So Nexus IT is a company that helps businesses focus on business and not so much on technology issues. And right now, more than ever, we really need to focus on technology as many people are working from home. Many students are learning from home. What are you finding from your customers and clients?
Yeah, great question, Christine. I think we all are kind of heading back into these uncharted waters. Perhaps we kind of got a system down at the end of spring as the lockdown, happened. But now we've got kids going back to school, and whether that means that they are going to be doing school from home or they're going to be doing school in person, or do we need to be prepared for a potential inevitable lockdown again from school, where they send the students home to quarantine for some time? And so certainly we want to talk a little bit about technology and how that plays a role in these new environments at home while parents are working and while students are doing schoolwork from home. I think that one of the first tips that we would give is just find a productive work space for each individual in the home, and generally if the students or children are old enough that they can be unsupervised, find separate work environments so that you can concentrate on your work and they can concentrate on their school. Obviously they're going to need some check-ins on occasion. Certainly don't use the same devices as each other, particularly your corporate device, whatever that is, your laptop, your desktop, your tablet. Don't give it to the kids to do their homework or to do to play games on, because it poses a significant risk to your organization and your sensitive data. As you get back to work and school with kids potentially doing school from home, you may need to consider some upgrades in your home in order to meet the needs of particularly bandwidth. So I would suggest calling your internet service provider. Most of them have new packages that have been designed around work for home that for either no fee or a very small fee, $10 to $15 a month, you can upgrade your internet service package and get a better speed. And I would think about potentially new routers and wireless access points if you have a larger home. One wireless router is not going to cover an entire home. So if you have more than 1,500 to 2,000 square feet, you're probably going to need some wireless access points. Some of the best brands that we see for home right now are Asus, the Google Home, wireless system. Actually, the Eero Amazon system isn't bad at all either. Linksys has some pretty good systems as well that are good for home use. And so think about whether your wireless system is robust enough, whether your router is capable of higher speeds that you're going to need now. There's a lot of other new fancy gadgets and things that we want to get into and talk about. But any other questions before we get there?
Well, I'm curious, Travis, you have some students that learned from home, especially over these past few months. What have you learned from your experiences, and what's some tech that's really essential?
So the trick we did at my house is Comcast, when you for a Comcast service, for example, what we did with them is we had them set up a couple of wireless networks. And we made one for your streaming and your, your surfing Instagram and Facebook and those. We made the others dedicated towards connecting the school devices too, just to make sure that one wasn't offsetting the other, and maybe one child was on a different schedule than the other one. That way we didn't, have anybody complaining about I don't have enough internet because, so so's watching Netflix, right? And so we went that route, and then we took full advantage of the schools give you the option to check out and take a Chromebook home. And we utilized that because I didn't want, like Earl said before, I didn't want my kids on my corporate or business assigned laptop or nor my wife's devices. We had them on devices, and we told our kids, you can only do schoolwork on these devices. And what we were doing, we tried to separate it completely. When schoolwork was done, we were setting those aside. And then when nobody's doing homework, we could use those other internet connections. But we tried to really separate those things, and it worked great. Right now, I've got all teenagers. And there were times when I walked in because, like Earl said, doing check-ins, and I look in and kids were messing around on Instagram or texting, whatever they were, and we had to kind of watch that a little bit. But it really worked good to have those dedicated internet connections. And Comcast for us didn't charge us anything extra for that. We just said, give me 2 wireless networks in the home. And we've got a different router and some other things here, but that's what we did.
And Earl, when we focus on the business professional who is working at home or maybe doing a combination of going into the office, working at home, also could potentially be monitoring their students at home, what are you hearing from your business clients that they need the most?
Yeah, I mean, it's a significant challenge, and it's real, for working parents to have students at home, and potentially it's not new. I mean, a lot of us have kids that, get home from school at 3 p.m., but we don't get home until 5:30 or 6 o'clock, right? And so having the ability to check in with kids, particularly smaller kids, is a nice thing to have. Certainly, there are parents who will argue, to what extent you keep a leash on your children or not. But there are solutions for tracking and knowing your kid's location, whether that be with a phone or a smartwatch. Certainly, there's a lot of new smart displays or those kind of like smart alarm clocks that have video call capabilities. So, when they get home, either on their phone, their tablet, on those smart displays, they can give you a call, let you know that they're home from school. I know parents who go far enough to put cameras in the home to kind of keep an eye on, making sure that they're getting to work on schoolwork or doing the things they're supposed to do. Again, is that too much of a leash or not? That's up to the parent, right? But there's certainly significant amounts of technology that can be used and deployed to improve collaboration, communication between kids and parents, and to keep an eye on them.
And Travis, we've been focusing on things that individuals may need that may help with this issue of working from home, having students back at home. But with the clients that you have interacted with through Nexus IT, how are they doing emotionally? How's their anxiety and their stress with all of this?
Yeah. So funny you say that. I was in an appointment yesterday with a potential client for Nexus, and that was one of the primary topics that was brought up. I think there's a lot of anxiety in the workplace right now about how am I going to manage this? How am I going to do this? I'm worried about being productive, my kids being productive. So there's a lot of anxiety there. It doesn't have to be that way, right? I think the trick is just being ahead of the game. Spend a little bit of time, do some research, call us if you want to call us, and let's just make sure that you're at least ready, right, with a plan, and it will ease some anxiety. But we are seeing that. That is a real thing.
Well, Nexus IT, it's been great having you join us today. Travis Gunn and Earl Foote, we appreciate these tech tips that you're giving us. It's a good perspective that you have. Also, head to Nexus IT online. Find out how they can elevate your business by taking care of all of your tech concerns and more. We'll be back on this Business Wednesday. Stay with us.